Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Tuesday, November 12th. Disney Plus comes out today, if anybody is watching for that. We signed up for it as well, because there's lots of stuff we like that's Disney. So, I didn't film yesterday on typical Monday fashion, because it was Veterans Day and all of my family was home. So we went ice skating and relaxed, and it was a great day. But no filming could happen. So I didn't remember to warn everybody. So those of you who are always looking forward to my videos on Monday, sorry about that. But here I am. And I don't have any haul, but I will very soon because I have two packages coming this afternoon in the mail. And I have a bunch of threads ready for me to pick up at my local Needlepoint store. Here comes Cinnamon, which I can pick up today, so I can head over there and do that. But since I have other stuff to show you, I'll just save it all till next time, and I won't bother trying to go over there before I film. So otherwise, I probably wouldn't get to film at all. And this week, I technically have jury duty. I didn't have to go in today, but the way it works in LA County is we are on call basically for a week. And we have to check in every night to see if we go in the following day. So, and we're not allowed to have scissors at the courthouse. So if I have to go in, I'll probably have to take a book to use while I'm waiting rather than cross stitch. I could take something with and just not cut my threads, but I don't know. I'm not really into that. So we'll see. But I don't want to have to go in. If this week is fairly busy with things I've already committed to, so I'm really hoping that I don't have to go in, but we'll see. So I will show you my forthcoming haul next time, which hopefully will happen. If I get picked on a jury and it goes into next week, then I'll have to wait to film until that's over, but guess we'll see. It's all up in the air at this point. In the meantime, I have stitching to show you that I worked on this week, and plans for next week, or plans for this coming week, assuming I have time. If I get picked, I'm not sure what sort of time or energy level I'll have to do much stitching, but we'll see. I'll show you what I have earmarked to work on if I have time. How's that? We can word it that way. So I will start with my temperature pieces, which are caught up. Woohoo! I don't remember. I don't think I had the quilt caught up last time. I think that was a new thing. At the beginning of this week, I talked with my mom and my sister early in the week, and during both of their visits on the phone, I worked on my temperature pieces. So that really helped to get everything caught up. So this is what my temperature quilt mock-up is. Everybody's is different because it's all based on your current temperatures where you live. This is what mine looked like last week. And here it is now. Yay! So this is not yesterday, but the day before, because I worked on this yesterday. So this is cut up through what I could do yesterday. And October is all the way finished. It's very monotonous with, yellow in the daytime and dark blue or purple in the nighttime. So hopefully, I hear there's supposed to be a cold snap coming to parts of the country this week, maybe even today. But I don't think we're getting it, so. But some variants would be nice. And I'm like, I really want rain again. My husband's like, why? He's a native Californian. He doesn't get it, but I'm a native Oregonian, and I do like the rain, so. Here's my temperature balloons. These are caught up through the last time I worked on it, so there is a few blocks that could be worked on, but I'll get to that today, hopefully. This is what it looked like last week. And here it is now. So again, lots of similar colors down here from this past week, but I'm really happy with how it's coming along. And I have one string done in this cloud and then started on another string, which I do when I'm done with whatever blocks I need to do for that, that day. There's the blue color. So probably I will work on this today, both during a call with my sister and in the valet line. So maybe I'll get that cloud all done and can move on to counting. Where's my thing? I have So when I finish this cloud, I can work on this basket, which I'll have to, I'm like right here, so I have to count down to that. This one, I think that's probably the next thing I'll do, because I don't have to count to that. I think I have that part of the balloon finished. So I'll do this next, and then I can count up from there to do the basket for the December balloon, and then maybe I'll be a little bit farther down on this to do that basket. So when the day comes up to work on the balloons, I'll do whatever blocks I have for that day, and then that's the order that I'll do all the peripheral things. So I'm super happy about that. They're finally caught up, so when I work on them, it's more fun, because then I can see the rest of it come together and not always feel like I'm scrambling and behind. So that's really, really good. This past week, like I've been doing since I think September, I'm doing my daily normal stitching in cooperation with the Enchanted Stitching Challenges group on Facebook, which is based on Disney movies, and the movie for November is Coco. And the first challenge that I stitched on was a new skill that you learned. So I worked on the Twisted Band Sampler, and because there's lots of specialty stitches in here, which I have not done before, so that's new. And I did several stitches, specialty stitches this time. I got my 250 stitches, a little over 250 stitches, to finish out the flower band that I had started. It was just cross stitch. And I didn't want to stop, because at that point it's like, nothing is stopping me from working on these specialty stitches. And so I went ahead and did it. So I got one whole length of one stitch, then I went back and did one whole length of another stitch, and then the third stitch was very time intensive, and so that one, I'd got a couple of those done, and I'll show you here in a minute. And then I finally got to the point where, okay, I can be done and move on to the next project that I want to pick. And so the next time I pick this up, I will be working on more specialty stitches, which will just make it that much more fun. So this is what it looked like last week. And here it is now. Woohoo! So I'm still working in this medium orange color, which is, or light orange, I guess, which is actually used in my temperature tree as one of the flower colors. So I had to pull it out of my box that I had stolen the threads. My cat is now being helpful. She doesn't like it when this hit her back. So I got all of the cross stitches done on the flowers all the way to the bottom, and then I came back up and worked on this diagonal four-sided stitch, and I'm not sure if it'll focus very well for you, but so I did this band all the way down, and then I did these, which were pretty cool. I'm not sure how well you can see that, and then I came back and did these ones, which are kind of cool, but they take a lot of work. There's like 26 legs of that stitch or something like that. So when I got to that, it was definitely a lot slower progress. So then I figured, well, I guess I can be done and have something to look forward to next time I pull this out. So definitely enjoying this, and I am doing this on 32 count bisque linen by Lakeside Linens. I get that mixed up a lot. Using the called for DMC. There's a conversion for a Veriswa, Dinky Dyes, and DMC included in the pattern. And this, I can't remember if it's this color or the next color, but this right here is the corner of the design. So when I'll be coming down, let's see. Yeah, I think it's the next stitch. The last stitch that's in this color will hit the corner. So I've got like just a tiny bit left until I hit the corner. And then the bands will all be the same length. They won't be getting longer anymore until I reach the bottom of this corner down here. So this has been fun. I'm really enjoying that. I love all the colors in the rainbow, so it's fun to kind of go through them all in this project. So that made me a little bit nervous, whether or not I'd have time to finish all the challenge pieces that I had chosen. But I decided to go ahead and just keep plugging away and see what happened. The next one I pulled out was my Friends of the Library Needlepoint kit. And that's what this one looks like. And it's just a bunch of continental tent stitches with a little bit of back stitching at the end, but most of it is just full coverage tent stitches. So this one, I got started on it and I decided to put it on scroll frames. I have a cheapo scroll frame that I got at Joann's back in high school. And I have tried it on here before and I didn't like it, but I think it was because I was trying to do it on my lap still. And I was talking with, I forget your actual name, My Stitchy Home here on in Flosstube. I can link her below. She does some needlepoint and quilting and things in addition to cross stitch. So I was talking with her about needlepoint and stretcher bars for my new counted canvas piece I'll be starting next year, which is what the threads for my needlepoint shop are for. That needlepoint designs greatly benefit from being on stretcher bars or scroll frames or something because they do tend to warp, and sometimes on the fancy stitches the long legs lay nicer if it's stretched. And I could see that already on the Twisted Band Sampler, some with the really long legs. It might be better off stretched nicely. So this one I had already kind of could tell that it was probably going to stretch because it's all continental tent, which is the worst stitch for stretching, for warping your fabric. So I decided I would go ahead and try putting this on my scroll bars that I have and prop it up on the table and work that way. And it worked pretty well. So once I got into testing that theory, I wanted to do a little bit more than 100 half stitches would have the progress that I would see would be very minimal. So I decided to go ahead and shoot for the 500 and I got it. So that was another one that I was worried that if I went for that, I wouldn't do very well on my following projects, but I decided to try it and I just decided it was worth it and I kept going and I got my goal met. So this is what that looked like last week. And here it is now. I'll hold it back here. You can still see the printed canvas there, and the stitches that are complete are here, finished out this section and the lighter bits coming up here, and then all of these lighter bits. I don't think I did any more up there. So it is a little bit harder to see than cross stitch because the canvas is printed also. But I got a little over 500 stitches done down here in this section, and so next time I might even roll it up a little bit because now I didn't have it stitched down to here before, so now my lowest blank is here. So I'll go ahead and roll it up. And what I found is I'll have this end propped up on the table and I can still tuck my hands under here and touch underneath like I like to do when I normally stitch. So as long as starting from the bottom is actually going to work really nice. Having it in here, because as I scroll it up, if I get too far and my hands can't reach it, I'll just scroll it up and continue to work along the horizontal as I go up until I can't reach anymore. So I think that's going to go well. And this is a bag that Rita Marie Stitching Adventure that she made for me. I think when I won a giveaway. So I thought this will work really well for keeping my scroll frame so I don't have to take it on and off all the time. So there we go. Thank you, Rita. Now I can use that. Put that into use. Good use. So then we end up in the weekend, and my next project was my husband's. The kitties were one that had to do with the pet. The challenge to do with the pet. The challenge for this was family, because they are a family, and I'm making it for my husband, who is family. Only now he's home. So that made me a little nervous. But I really wanted to keep working on the kitty one while I had it out. So I went ahead and started working on this at some point when he was in the garage working on something because I figured I'd be fairly safe. And I was only planning to do 100 half stitches on this one. My lowest priority piece this week was the Simpsons one. So just not feeling it. There's the other things are just calling to me a lot more, but I did want to put some effort into it this month, so I went ahead and had a goal of 100 half stitches to get to reach the middle goal in the challenge group. So at one point I put it down and came back, put it down upside down carefully, so he couldn't see anything just by glancing over at my stitching chair. He comes back and wants to read a magazine in the same room that I'm in. And I'm like, great. But I figured I might still be safe, so I went ahead and kept stitching, and he never looked over and figured things out. At one point I even held it up and took a picture of it for the group, like in my lap, facing me like this, and I had something else behind it, so it wasn't this showing. But I took a picture, and he even made some comment how I was taking a selfie or something, which I don't do. And I'm like, no, wasn't taking a selfie, but I didn't tell him what I was doing. So he still doesn't know I'm working on this. Long story short. Anyway, so I was thinking of doing some in her face, but I wanted to just get my goal done quickly and move on to the last piece. So I only did some in her hair, so that's what you can be looking for when I see the before picture. So this is what it looked like last time. And here it is now. Can you see the blue? There's the blue. It's a nice bright blue, but it does look dark sometimes. So I did like 3 or 3.5 rows or something in Marge's hair. And I closed the blinds because otherwise it gets really washed out, but maybe you can see her blue hair a little bit better. Yeah, anyways, I forget what color it is, 920 maybe. So that's not too bad. So I did a few rows of that and called it good. There's still more on my needle, so next time this comes up, probably at the beginning of December, I'll put in another few rows, and that'll be good. My last piece was one that had to do with something forbidden in your house, which I chose a Christmas piece because Christmas decorations and music are forbidden until after Thanksgiving in our house. And so I worked on my heirloom nativity sampler by the Victoria Sampler, which I'm really enjoying working on. And again, similar with the Twisted Band Sampler, which one? I got my 250 stitches done for the challenge, took a picture, and then kept going. So I managed to get my goal stitching done Saturday night, so that on Sunday, I didn't know how much time I would have. It was a pretty busy Sunday. So I figured, well, with whatever time I do have, I can keep working on that piece and see how far I can get. So I managed to do quite a bit on the shepherds, and I got the shepherds done, the sheep done, and all the birds done, and then all of the details. So all the little backstitching details that they have. So then now all I have to do is a few more green stitches and the rest of the snow, which maybe one more challenge will take care of, and then I'll be down into the specialty bands again, which is where I want to be before the end of the Christmas. So I'm not working on this coming week. Villa Mirabilia needed a turn. So, but this will come out again before Christmas because I want to keep working on it. So this is what it looked like last week. And here it is now. This is 32 count silver linen by MCG Textiles. I had forgotten the name of the color, but I found it when I was looking through my stash earlier. It's silver. And it's a discontinued color, as is all of MCG's fabric, I think, are discontinued. But no great loss since the quality is not fabulous. But I loved the color of this. The snow pops on it. And I'm really happy with how far I got. So I managed the 200 stitches, finished this tan color in this sheep, which is what I had on my parked there. And then I did all of this shepherd's clothes and then this shepherd's gray like cloak on the outside. And then that was done for the challenge, and I took a picture. And then I came back and did his skin and then his clothes, and then I figured, let's go ahead and do all the details. So I had the black for his beard, and then I went ahead and did the black on the birds, which were all 2 strands, and then and his head wrap was 2-strand black. Then I did like a single strand black with all these little details, and so when his eye was black, so his eye got done. So that was all fun, and I didn't have to count. And then I did the little tree, which is backstitched, and the staff, and so that was all really fun. Oh, and a French knot eye for this little guy. So yeah, there's a few more holes in the trees, and then some in the ground that's going to be green, and then there's some more white. So I'm assuming one more challenge will get that all finished. Then I can work on some specialty stitches, which is really what I'm interested in working on right now. So it's fun that I've got a few of these projects going, that I can scratch that itch regularly. So let's see. So going forward into this coming week, I have 4 more challenges, and I wanted to get Villa Mirabilia back out again to put some more time in on this pot, which I would love to get finished before the end of the year. Not sure if it'll happen, but that is my goal still at this point. I started working on this yesterday, so it's already got some progress since you saw it last, but there's still a little bit more to go. So this is what that looked like when you saw it probably a couple weeks ago. And here she is now. So there's the bush, you can compare, and then here's all of her. And this one goes along with the Day of the Dead, because there's lots of bright colors, and they said stitch on magenta, orange, yellow, green, and maybe one other color. And she's got a lot of bright colors in her dress for sure, but I'll probably just stick with the green because I want to focus on the pot. So I won't work on any of the planter this time. I'll just stick with greens because of the challenge. But there's plenty of those. So I finished this color, which was nice, down this chunk and then down here. And then I realized when I got to the bottom there was one more like little section of this blended color that I must have missed last time. I thought I did all of that last time. So there was a few more of those I missed, and then I came up here to work on the darkest green to get this chunk filled in, and then I'll come back and work on some of these other spaces. So then I can work on the beads and the berries and the planter. There's still a lot more to go, but it's coming along. So I have a little bit more to do. I don't know how many more stitches, but I'm about halfway there, I think, for what I need to accomplish. The dark green chunk has nice long rows, so that should get me to my goal pretty quickly. And again, we'll see, the other 3 pieces I picked are full coverage, 2 of which are half stitch pieces. So I don't know, and I don't know what my week is going to look like with jury duty and such. So I'll probably just stop at the end of my, when I meet my 250 stitch goal on this piece, and then if for some reason I have time at the end of the week and none of my other 3 pieces are especially calling to me, I might come back to this one and do some more on it to keep going on that pot. So, but I might not have time for that, and one of these other pieces might be needing me to continue to get to a specific goal. I don't know how it's going to go. So that may come out again beyond the challenge, but we'll have to wait and see. Then one of the challenges was to work on something with flowers because of the marigolds that they use to help connect with the dead, I guess. This week was supposed to be working on my aunt's piece and my mom's piece, so it worked out good. Both of them got to fit the prompts. This one, flowers, clearly, they're irises. So I'll pull this out and do hopefully 250 stitches on this one. This is where it's at right now, with definitely needing to finish out this column or this diagonal, and then I'll get started on the next one, because there's probably only 100-ish down here, so that's where that's at right now. Really like this one. This is 25 count, 1/1. full crosses. And I don't remember, I'm sure I missed some of these other ones. Simpsons is 40 count, Vertical 1/1 half stitches. Villa Mirabilia is 32 count, 2/2. Yeah, I think that's the only ones I forgot to say. I forget to say all the time. Sorry, guys. And then the next one was something. What was this challenge for? I don't remember. I don't have time to look it up, but let's see. My knitting woman fit in with something. Oh, this is for the mistake. One of the things was work on something that you made a mistake. I can't remember why that fits in the movie. It doesn't matter. This one, I probably made a mistake picking the fabric because I don't like the coverage. It's too see-through, too much fabric showing for what I usually like. However, because the cut of the fabric was just perfect for the size of this piece, and I didn't know any better when I started, and I made a decent amount of progress before I realized there were better ways to do it. And when you stand back, it still looks good, so I'm just going to continue with it, but in hindsight, I would not have used 22 count Ada, which is what I did. So that's my mistake. So this one I'm working on for my mom. This is where this is at right now. And I decided to do cross country in a page and park in the next page. That seemed to be a happy medium for this piece. So I still have a little bit here and down here to do on this first page. So ideally I'll get this page done this year. If I feel pressed for time, I'll just do 100 half stitches on this one and go for the medium goal. If I'm feeling like I have lots of extra time, maybe I'll try to go for the 500, but this one, it has a lot of confetti, so 100 might be more reasonable, but any progress is good progress. And then my last one, it said you had to pick something that to contribute to the music competition that Miguel wanted to enter. So I chose La Soiree because she's playing a guitar right here, just like he does. And so these, at least her, but maybe all of them, maybe they could be backup singers, and then she could be playing along with Miguel as a backup guitarist to be in the music competition with him. So that's the one I chose for that. And this one I had as a yearly maybe goal to do, to finish the page, because I think there's maybe only one column left in this page, and it's background, so it's fairly quick. So this is where this is now. This is on 24 count Congress cloth, 2/1 half stitches, and this is in the background, the yellow wallpaper, and the First Lady's hair is right here on page 2. So I'm excited to get over there. So I'd like to finish page 1 this year. So again, if I have time, I'd like to go for the 500 stitch goal, but 100 may have to suffice if I run out of time. So we'll see. So, I think that's everything. So coming in the mail today, I have an order from the Fat Quarter Shop with a lot of patterns and a piece of fabric, some needles, and then I have my Color and Cotton Thread Club from October is showing up today. And then at the Needlepoint store here in town, I have a bunch of threads that I asked them to order. They pulled all of them, and one of them was they had to order, and it showed up today. So they're ready to pick up now for a needlepoint design, my very first counted canvas piece that I was gifted by Trisha at 3 Owl Threads. I'll show that next time because it'll go along with all the threads. She gifted me the pattern and the canvas, DMC Pearl Cotton, and a Gloriana Silk, which are the things that are easy to source on a cross-stitch, website. But there's a lot of the other specialty threads that were not available readily on a cross-stitch site, more of a needlepoint site. So I thought I would support my local shop and buy them from them. So I'm really excited to see what they all look like together. And I decided to splurge and get everything what was called for, various silks, even though they're solid. There were like 3 five, I think, 2 different brands. 5 colors of solid silks that I was tempted to just look in my hand-dyed collection to match up, but I wanted to make sure it all blended nicely together and laid the way the designer intended. And it's my very first one, so I thought I'd go ahead and just go for it. And I had the money in my discretionary, funds, so I figured I might as well do it. So I'll be picking those up maybe today, but hopefully sometime before I film again, so I can show you guys. And I think that's everything. I better go so I can get this edited and maybe head on over to the LNS before I have to pick up my kids. So all that to say, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy stitching. Bye.